Good evening, I'm Juhi Rajput and you're watching Emerging SME, our special initiative which celebrates the undiminished spirit of entrepreneurs of small and medium enterprises who have carved a niche for themselves. The first company we're featuring today is Dauters, which is presenting the most advanced waste-to-energy technology in India. To talk about this latest technology and innovation, we have with us Mr. Ajay Girotra, MD, Dauters Waste Processing Private Limited. Good evening, Mr. Girotra, and welcome to the show.
Good evening.
Mr. Girotra, first of all, tell us about the Dauters Waste Processing technology.
Dauters Waste Processing is the India arm for Langenberg Technologies USA. Langenberg has come out with a very breakthrough proprietary technology to convert any kind of waste in the world into power, drinking water and fuel. So when I say waste, we mean by any kind, say solid, liquid, effluent, slags, fly ash, bio-waste, hazardous, toxic, slags, slurries, or sea water, ocean water, anything which in the world can be termed as waste. Now, we convert into these three things. The key ISP of our technology is it is zero emission. Nothing in the ground, nothing in the air, no residues at all. We do not require any kind of a startup power. We create our own fuel. It takes in about 1/10 the conventional size of the plants, of a normal plants it is. So it's got a very, very small footprint. And what we bring to India is at zero cost, which means there is no investment required from the government, no kind of support. It's only the three outputs which we produce is what we sell to the government, and that's our commercial model.
Mr. Girotra, how is this waste-to-energy technology different from other technologies available in the market?
Our waste-to-energy technology is absolutely way far ahead of what the existing technologies are. Let's understand what the existing technologies are. Say, for example, in case of solid waste, it is the incineration technology. Incineration has a very big problem that it can only burn the organic waste. Separate landfills for the inorganic to be disposed of, and it creates a huge amount of residues which again require landfills. Second thing, the problem with solid waste is in incineration is that it requires absolutely dryness. So moisture is a big problem. Third is the kilocalorific value. It has to be more than 1200 kilocalorific value for you to process that waste. And fourth is the large amount of land required for the landfills. Now in our case, none of these four are required. We do not require any kind of segregation. We process inert, organic, inorganic, anything and everything. We process it out. Moisture is, we are absolutely friendly to it. Any level of moisture is fine with us. Third, we do not require any kind of a landfills because we do not have any residues left out. And fourth, kilocalorific value does not matter to us as we are not burning. Our process is plasma gasification, where each and every matter is broken down into its molecular form. And in that molecular form, at a very high temperature, we are able to segregate it out and convert it into the syngas. Now, in case of liquid waste, the problem is that there is no solution available. Whatever the liquid waste, when we say that it is the sewage what we are talking about, the current solution available is that you put in a sewage treatment plants. Now, sewage treatment plant is not the solution for it. It is just simply filtering the thing. So our technology, how it differentiates is that we are the only people in the world who can convert sewage into power, drinking water and fuel. Now, for example, in solid waste, 200 metric tons of unsegregated waste generates about 1 to 2 megawatts of power. In our case, 200 metric tons of solid waste generates 70 megawatts of power. So we are almost 70 times. In case of liquid waste, we are a 1 MLD, which means 10 lakh liters of sewage. We are able to generate 10 megawatts of power and about 9,50,000 liters of drinking water and fuel. This is an absolutely never heard of. But that's the breakthrough technology which our company has created, and that's what we are presenting to India now.
Mr. Girotra, in which all parts of India are you planning to set up your plants, and also tell us about its operational performance?
See, the key thing about our plant is that it is an absolutely integrated technology. Right from the segregation of water and the waste to the production of the three outputs, we require such low footprint that, for example, a 50 megawatt plant requires only 10 meters or 10 meters of space. So we put up our plants at the pit sites where the waste is available. And currently, the same is the case with the solid waste. The plants are put up at the pit sites because space required is very, very, very less. And how we are doing it is that we are currently in discussions with the government in Maharashtra, UP, Punjab, Jharkhand, Gujarat, Telangana, and we are in the process of signing up projects where we are converting solid waste, effluents, seawater, sewage into the three outputs. And all our plants are completely computer controlled.
Most of the waste to energy plants established before has been closed by now, or they're not performing up to mark. In this situation, your technology could be of great use. Mr. Girotra, what support do you require from the government so that it helps society in waste management as well as energy development?
See, we need to understand that why the plants which were set up had exited out. We need to understand what the problem is. The problem is that they were only burning the waste out. Burning the waste does not generate so much of energy that it can be commercially sold and make money. And that's the reason, because they were not making money, they were not commercially sustainable, that's the reason they exited out. What the government has to see is that the water, the air, the earth is getting polluted heavily on. The water is not going to be lasting for a long. And the air, we just saw what the smog in Delhi was, that the amount of pollution which is getting caused, now this is not going to be getting reduced, it's going to year by year increasing it out. So what the government has to understand is to adapt newer technologies, has to adapt that what is the potential of waste. Waste today can replace any and every kind of a fossil fuel.
Waste management is something about how garbage waste can be used as a valuable resource. And as your tagline says, the most powerful thing in the world is water. What would be your action plan to implement this technology on a larger scale?
We need to understand how powerful the water is. I'll give you an example. 14,000 mld of sewage falls into Ganga River every day. What is the potential of this sewage? The potential is that if I process this entire waste, we will be generating 150,000 megawatts of power. We would be generating 100 liters of mineral water per Indian per day. And the entire consumption of diesel and jet fuel in this entire country can only be met from that. So we need to understand what is the power of water. The power of water is the amount of sewage falling into the Belundur lake. You have heard of this lake in Bangalore which catches fire there. It can generate 5,000 megawatts of power to lighten up the entire Bangalore city. It can give 30 crore liters of drinking water to the parched Bangalore and Kolar areas, as well as supply diesel, jet fuel or CNG for the entire city. That's the potential, and we are able to easily scale up.
Lastly, Mr. Girotra, I'd like to ask you, how will your technology and plans help in strengthening the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan?
Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is an absolute fantastic program what the government has introduced, and it is making people aware of what is the importance of cleanliness and making everybody do the cleaning of their entire cities and towns. But we find it is a half-hearted affair. Why? Because it is teaching the people to collect the waste, but it is not teaching the people how to process the waste. Cleaning the city and collecting the dirt and throwing it in a landfill is not the solution. That landfill is causing so much of pollution. The leachate which is going into the ground is contaminating the groundwater. It is contaminating that sewage which is getting generated out there is going into the rivers. that has to get eliminated. And if once that gets eliminated, it gets converted into energy, that is what actually the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan will be.
Thanks, Mr. Girotra, for joining us in the show. Waste management is a challenge for municipal bodies, and some reliable technology for waste to energy could be of great importance in the present scenario.